In this video, we're talking about the 5 suburbs that everyone is moving to, so stick around, we're getting after it right now. All right, if this is your first time to the channel, you want to know everything there is to know about living in the greater Portland metro area, or in this case, the top 5 suburbs, then make sure you click that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, do a little dance, sing hurrah, and you will be the first to know about everything happening in our market. I'm Ann Stewart, and this is Erica Hagfors. We are your go-to gals when you're contemplating or making that move to Portland. And if you're not already part of our community, like Erica said, hit the subscribe button, and better yet, reach out to us. All of our contact information is listed below, and we love getting the reach outs, and we'll connect with you soon. All right, so in this video, we're talking about the 5 popular suburbs that folks are moving to when they move into Portland. These are the ones we see consistently people are asking about, searching for houses, and there are reasons for that, which we're going to go into. And when we look at suburbs, we're talking about primarily the west side in this video. What are the areas people gravitate to and why? So let's talk about it. So the first suburb is Beaverton. Now, Beaverton is a big city, one of the bigger cities, right, on the west side. It's a pretty big city on the west side. It takes up a lot of space, and there's so many aspects to it, different parts of Beaverton. So you can be on, west, east, north, all those different parts, and they're very different. Yeah. So depending on what you need, where you want to be, we've always said that if you're going to be in Beaverton, you need to figure out what part of Beaverton you need to be in, because getting from one side to the other can take you probably about 30 minutes sometimes. That's, on these side roads when you're not super close to a highway, you have to be really mindful of where are you going to be traveling on a regular basis? Because some of these roads, as we've started to expand and build out our suburbs, have gotten pretty crowded during high traffic areas or high traffic times. So if you're having to go from east to west in Beaverton, good luck. And if you have to hop on the 217, man, you're going to be sitting there for a little while. So definitely think about where you need to be. It is one of our larger suburbs I would probably say the largest suburb on the west side. Yeah. And there's a lot of variety of housing. So one of the reasons why people move to Beaverton on the west side is because you have older neighborhoods, you have newer neighborhoods, you have townhomes, you have condos, you can be closer into the downtown urban-ish area, or you can be out in the burbs, which is most of Beaverton. So almost every type of housing exists in Beaverton, and the neighborhood types are vast. So, and housing prices are vast. It's still kind of considered affordable for the west side because of the variety. The average sales price is right around $667,000 at the time we're doing this video. So comparatively speaking. And they're building some cool things. So, especially if you're in downtown Beaverton, they've got some newer condo type properties that are popping up, which is great. And it's got a really cute downtown area that feels older, very eclectic and unique versus a suburban feel, which is usually strip malls and big box chain stores. And so you do get that little bit of uniqueness, especially in the old town Beaverton. And yet you can have a condo, you can have a townhouse, you can be very affordable. You're close to mass transit. There's a ton of bus routes in the Beaverton area, as well as the Max line goes right through the downtown area. So it is a really nice option. And like Ann said, you've got everything. So as you get further out in Beaverton, you've got a ton of new construction as well, which is really big on kind of the alley entrance cottage style homes as well as townhomes. So, good affordable options if you want something newer. If you're like, I don't want to be, stuck with my home and doing a ton of maintenance or doing a lot of yard work. Great options, new options, versus having to take on an older home. But if you do want the yard, we have those options as well in Beaverton. And a lot of people work in the high-tech area, kind of in the Beaverton, Aloha, Hillsboro area. So it's a really great location if you're raising a family and want to be in the suburbs close by, or if you're working at Nike, which, is another huge employer. It's right there in the center of Beaverton. So there's just a lot of options for people to keep close to their work without a heavy commute. It's kind of a nice middle ground, especially if you want to be able to go into the city, but you don't want to be so far out. Yeah. It's that perfect, balancing act. And there are actually some parts of Beaverton where you're really close to the city. It's, you can pop down pretty darn quick. So nice middle ground, especially if maybe one person's working downtown and maybe one person's working in the tech out in Hillsboro. Fantastic option. All right, number 2 on the list is Bethany. Bethany is just north of Beaverton, west of Portland, probably about 10, 12 miles outside the city. And this area is definitely known for its schools.
Yep.
High quality schools. A lot of people who want to be out in the suburbs will gravitate towards Bethany for that very reason. It's all about what they can buy to get into the school district. And Bethany as well, like Bethany was built up, I would say, in the late 90s to early 2000s. That's really when it had its boom. And so you find a lot of those style of homes. There is still a lot of new construction going out, some luxury construction, builders that we've talked about before in other videos. Toll Brothers is out there, Taylor Morrison. And so you can get a wide variety of properties, everything from multi-million-dollar homes to condos. Something for everybody.
Yeah, and it also has one of the primary 55 or older communities out there in the Bethany area called Claremont. Flat, walkable, right on a golf course. It's just right there in the heart of Bethany. Also, Bethany Village has, kind of a big box QVC store with Starbucks and a lot of different types of stores nearby. And there's just a lot of desire for that location. It's close to high tech, but it also is Washington County taxes. Yes. So if you're looking to be on the west side and you don't want to pay the Multnomah County taxes further up the street in Forest Heights, this is a great alternative.
And this area is unincorporated Washington County. And to be honest, it's a very safe area, though. Sometimes when you have unincorporated areas, it takes a little bit longer. But there's actually a sheriff's office right in Bethany Village. Super safe area. And kind of the cool thing, I think, about Bethany Village is that you do have that mix. You have the big box, you have your grocery store, you have, a Starbucks. But there's a lot of mom and pop shops in there as well, which is super cool. So you kind of get that mix of closer, like suburb,
locally owned, community feel.
Exactly.
Yep. And it's also really close to the freeway. So it's right off Highway 26. So even if you wanted to go to like Tanasbourne shopping area, you're literally a hop, skip, and a jump over the freeway to get to that or any other amenities, really. So you don't have to stay in Bethany. It's not like this far out place that's really close in.
And to be honest, there's actually quite a bit going on. So they've got an athletic club right there in Bethany Village. And then there's another one that's really close. And tell us about...
Lifetime Fitness just came about in the last couple years. But it's not in Bethany, but it's very, very close. And people are raving about it. It's got Lifetime Work as well. So if you need a place to work, it's incredible. Like that fitness place is really drawing. In fact, they have a wait list as we speak. That's how, popular it is in that area. It's really drawn a lot of people for fitness and just the facilities that they offer. But you're really close to everything. You're close to Cedar Mill. You're close to Cedar Hill. You're close to, all those amenities right there in that Hillsboro area they call Tanasbourne. So you're just really close to a lot of things. And yet you're kind of in your own little community and it's just highly desirable.
And another cool thing about the community is that there's a massive park network and trails with the Tualatin Hills Park and Rec. And the trail actually goes from another community called Rock Creek that's down at the bottom of a little hill. It's mostly flat, but there's a little hill. And it takes you all the way up through the community. So lots of walking trails, big sidewalks, really fantastic. Now, I will say it is a little bit more expensive than what you're generally going to find in Beaverton. Prices start to go up. It becomes a little bit more, I don't want to say exclusive, but like a little bit fancier. Just because you do have such top-rated schools in the area.
Yep. All right, the third suburb that a lot of people are kind of gravitating towards these days is Hillsboro. Now, Hillsboro is a little further out. We've done videos on Hillsboro, but because there's such a booming high-tech area and there's still land to build on, a lot of people are finding a lot of new construction options. One of the bigger planned communities going on as we speak is Reed's Crossing. We've also done a video on that. Check it out. Reed's Crossing is a massive, thousands of homes have and will be going into that area, but they're also creating it to be a community where it's walkable and it's designed around environmentally friendly aspects. So if you're looking for new, Hillsboro has it, and that's why a lot of people are gravitating towards it. But Hillsboro is also really big. They have a ton of different types of neighborhoods. You can get older bungalows, you can get 1980s, 70s, and on up.
The downtown area of Hillsboro, super cute. You've got older, early 1900s homes. Again, very walkable, very small town feel, even though Hillsboro is huge.
Huge.
I mean, you are getting out there. You're probably about 20, 25 minutes outside of the city. And if you're deep Hillsboro, you're even farther away.
Yeah.
It could take you 20 minutes just to get to the highway.
But that's why we find a lot of people buy in there, because it truly has suburbs that with all the things around it that you need. So you don't have to leave.
You would never need to go out of Hillsboro or close to the city unless you wanted to. It's got, the hospitals. It's got all the infrastructure that you would possibly need. It does actually even have mass transit. The Max line runs out and ends in Hillsboro, and then tons of buses. It is really a bustling community and one of our fastest growing.
Yep.
It's got tech. It's got, lots of jobs. And then the schools are average. Do your due diligence. But, it is a growing and improving community. All right, next up you have Cedar Mill. Now, this is really all about the location. And what do you think of the location?
Yeah, as we always say in real estate, location. Now, this sits really close to Bethany, and it's right at the top of 217. And it's got about 17,000 people that encumbrance the entirety. So it's not a huge little area, but it's a cozy little suburb that has a lot of older communities and some newer stuff in the mix. But they have brought in a lot of businesses to that area, both restaurants and shopping. And it's just got kind of everything right there, not to mention you're really close to the freeway, Highway 26, so you can pop on and off and get anywhere fast. This is actually where we can talk about Lifetime Fitness, what we just talked about in Bethany. This is where it kind of sits in. So a lot of people like the fact that it has all these things around it that you can easily get to or use. And in fact, we have a listing right now in the Cedar Mill area. And our open house traffic has been huge because people are just desperate to get into that location. It is a Washington County as well. It's right before you get to Multnomah County. So something to be aware of is that when you're looking on the west side, getting really close to northwest Portland, there is a line that is distinct.
And you got to start
Washington or Multnomah County. And people really gravitate towards staying in Washington County to keep those property taxes low. And Cedar Mill does just that. It stays in that Washington County. So
Cedar Mills is really close to Cedar Hills. I mean, they're basically like sister. A lot of times you're going to be confused as to which one you're in, but I kind of liken it to that, the Cedar Mill is the higher end, lovely homes. A lot of times older established neighborhoods, fantastic area. And then, Cedar Hills kind of like a little bit more businessy, older homes. Yeah. But absolutely fantastic for location because you're outside of the city, but yet you're so incredibly close if you want to be there. Perfect place to check out.
Also, schools in this area are very good, and you're close to a lot of private schools. So we have Oregon Episcopal School. It's not too far away. We have Catlin Gable right there in Cedar Mill, which a lot of people rave about. And if you're looking to put your kids in private school or be close to private schools, because sometimes just being in those areas can make a big difference in values, this is a really, really good location to be in.
All right, last but not least, we have Wilsonville. Now we're going to shift directions here pretty drastically. So a lot of what we've been talking about has been just west or northwest of the city. And we're going to head south, about 14 miles south of Portland, you'll find Wilsonville. This is a fantastic community. We kind of call it a little boutique or bedroom community. It's, bordered by the Willamette, and it's absolutely awesome. The schools are fantastic.
Yep, Wilsonville School District.
You'll also find, it's not technically a 55 or older community, but we all assume it's a 55 or older community in Charbonneau. But then you also have a planned community in Villebois.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic for,
We've done a video on it.
We have done a video, check it out. Which is really great if that's the lifestyle that you want. And then there's also Old Wilsonville.
Yep.
Which is a lot of older homes, bigger lots, really fantastic. And just like all these other communities, Wilsonville has fantastic schools, really highly rated for that. You're really starting to hit that border of heading into the country. So kind of generally when you're traveling I-5 and you go past Wilsonville, that's kind of I'm not going to say the end of civilization, but that's you stop seeing so many exits. You're out into the country. And, Wilsonville's real close to if you want to go into wine country or ag country. So super fantastic area and location. And what do you think about Wilsonville?
Yeah, Wilsonville is, when I was growing up in the Westland area, Wilsonville was just right next to it. And it was considered a farm community because there was so much rural going on. In fact, I boarded my horse in the Wilsonville area. But it quickly started to boom in the early 90s and took off running up into the 2000s. And now it's a substantial community full of various different types of suburban neighborhoods that you can choose from. And a lot of people love it because it actually has kind of a newer feel to it. You can get acreage property, you can get townhomes, you can get tons of different options for single family. And like Erica mentioned, there's a community called Charbonneau that is not a 55 or older, but in theory, it's, most people there.
You find a lot of people following that idea.
Yeah. But they just have a lot of different variety of, just amenities within Hillsboro. They've got a great park in Wilsonville. They actually have several great parks. So it's kind of like the best of all worlds, but it's a little further out. So, most people who live in this community, they're not looking to commute to Portland. They're not looking to commute to the east side. They're really staying on the west side, or even some people choose to live in Wilsonville, but work in the Salem area, which is down, further down I-5. So if you're looking in Wilsonville, you're not looking to be closer in. And it definitely has kind of it's not far out, but it is a little bit further out in one of our further out subdivisions.
And something to note with it,
suburbs.
because like Nancy, it's not that far. I mean, it's only 14 miles. However, the traffic.
Yeah, traffic.
On a commute from Wilsonville is going to be nightmarish.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't want to be doing that every single day, but it is a fantastic community. So if you had to, I could see people maybe want to, but yeah, definitely people like to be there. If they still want to be closer to Portland, but they work in Salem, this is a great option for them because it's really only about 25 minutes to 30 minutes to get down to the Salem area.
Yeah.
So you're kind of right in that middle ground, which is absolutely fantastic.
All right, well, that was the 5 popular suburbs that people move to when they're moving to the Portland area. If you guys have other questions or comments, drop them below. And if you are looking to make a move out here and one of those suburbs sounded interesting that you'd like to discuss, hit us up. All of our contact information is listed below, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.